everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Fashion Grunge Podcast. I am your host, Lauren.
And I'm Jai. Hi.
What's up? How is everyone today? I hope you are well. We are going to do and talk about American Psycho from 2000. So we snuck it in because it was filmed March of 99. So it meets the 90s criteria, even though it's about the 80s. but yeah, we were like, we have to do it. I think we might have mentioned it on the last one, or maybe we gave you a clue. Yeah, I think we gave a clue or something.
Okay, maybe.
So hopefully everyone's really excited about that. Directed by Mary Harron, which we'll get into, and also written and also co-written by a woman as well. So
it's really cool. Yeah,
it's really cool, really awesome. But how are you doing, Jai? What are you up to?
I'm well. Nothing really exciting to report, but actually this one thing, I forgot to mention it before.
Oh, what?
I haven't drank since July 4th.
Oh, wow.
At all.
That's pretty good.
So I'm being healthier. I'm not, overeating like sugar and like going crazy with cake or anything. I'm craving it, but I'm trying to be good. So yeah, I finished Boardwalk Empire, and it was great, obviously. And started watching Pose season 2. It's great. I love it. I'm obsessed with the fashion this season. Is so good.
This season is 90s?
Pardon?
Is this season of Pose like late 80s, early 90s?
Yes, they cover both. Yeah, it's like 80s and 90s. Yeah, but
I have to watch.
It's so freaking good. And like everything that Angel wears is just amazing. It's literally things that I would wear. Mine is the body contrasts, but yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
For sure.
Listening to old electronic music because there's nothing interesting out right now.
No, not really.
What about you?
Let's see. I'm still watching The Strain, but I don't watch it like every day. So I think I talked about that on the last one. I also watched The Great, which is really good. It's on Hulu. It's about Catherine the Great, like from Russia. Oh. And it's really good. It's Nicholas Hoult plays the Emperor.
I love
Peter, and it's Elle Fanning. It plays Catherine.
Oh, that's right. I have seen it advertised. I've seen it advertised. It looks cool.
It's really funny too. Like it's not a serious kind of like period type drama. Like it's very funny. It's like a definite like satire and like dark comedy. I think you might like it, Jai. It's good.
Yeah, no, I'll definitely
finished it, and it was great. I think they're gonna have a season 2, so that's good. But that's about it, I guess. I mean, newsflash. Jai just found out yesterday or last night that I love to watch wild animal videos. I guess she found that really strange. I do.
Still shocked. I don't
basically only. Yeah, it's basically really limited to cheetah hunting video. Basically, all the big cats. Like I love watching lion hunter videos. I love watching definite cheetahs. There's a really good one on cheetahs about this group of 5 males, which is really uncommon for there to be a large group of cheetahs that hunt, and 2 of them are brothers. The other 3 are from other moms, but it's really good. I'm really into cheetahs. I think they're just so fascinating. Everything about it. So yeah, so that's what I was watching yesterday. And sometimes I watch like shark videos. Different polar bears. I watch a lot of like Arctic foxes, Arctic hare.
Oh my god, I love that.
Yeah, it's really cool. I mean, I think in the back of my head, I would love to be a National Geographic photographer. I think that would be like the best job. So I'm really into it. So newsflash, I like nature videos. So send me your favorites if you like watching Hunter, Cool Planet Earth, whatever. There's tons of things online now. There's not just Planet Earth, but it's cool.
Basically everything that David Attenborough has done is great.
Yes, there are some other good videos with horrible announcers.
Like, I know, it totally
really good.
Ruins it.
It does. I'm like, oh, David Attenborough should just do everything. Like, this is like, I like watching this video, but I really need to mute it because like I can't handle this guy. There's one where it's just the greatest video ever of this like jaguar and a caiman. I didn't know jaguars hunted in water either, which was pretty exciting. But I was like, whoa, this is so weird. And the announcer is just like, oh, and she's holding and 5, 4. I was like, what are
Oh
you doing? Is this
no.
a kids video? Like maybe this is for kids to get them excited about it, but it wasn't David Attenborough at all. It wasn't cool at all. But yeah, it's pretty fun. But
Yeah,
yeah,
that's pretty cool.
let's get into
Wait,
the
can I just say
oh yeah.
like and subscribe?
Oh yeah. If you're on Apple Podcasts, definitely give us a rating and write a little review. If you're on Spotify, just subscribe because you can't review there. So yeah, thank you, Jai. I literally, and so funny because I was like, okay, I'm gonna say it like as soon as I intro today. I'm gonna say it, so I won't forget, and then I fucking forgot.
I
Of
know.
course.
Luckily, I remember. But
Yeah, but yeah, and hey to all the new subscribers. There are a few new ones coming in because of our awesome Iraqi episode. We have another one dropping. You'll already have heard it. So by the time you hear this, but yeah, exciting to meet other Iraqi fans in the interweb. So that's cool. And yeah, American Psycho. What are your first thoughts on this? When did you first see this?
I had no idea when I first watched it, but I've seen it like about 5 or 6 times. Like it's a film that I really love, and I kind of you can't really get sick of it or bored,
No.
because it's just really good. Um, I love how mental the story is, and
Mhm.
Christian Bale is just so brilliant as like Patrick Bateman. Like I think I mainly love the film because he's in it and he's such a committed actor, Like I just love watching him do his thing. And his character is like so ridiculous that it's just really funny. I feel like a lot of people think the movie is sort of horror, but I really see it as like a comedy. It's like a black
Yeah,
comedy, right?
totally. Yeah.
So many funny moments. Like I just love all the dialogue and just being inside his head. I just love it. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely love. I love a lot of films that have like inner monologues and voiceovers.
Yes. So
Scorsese does it a lot, but I do. Yeah, I love that he has this like really crazy inner monologue and just it's just really funny, like throughout. I'm just like, God, he's so insane. Uh,
he is, but
like so weird.
he plays the character so well. Like I
He
mean,
plays everything so well. It's
everything
like
so
too
well. You're right.
good.
Yeah.
It's too good. Like at this point, it's like when you know Christian Bale is going to be in a movie, he's going to look completely different,
Yes.
and
Hmm.
he's going to totally inhabit this character.
Like I can't think of one single film that he's done where he wasn't good. Like
I
he was
can't either.
incredible as Cheney.
Oh, yeah, I haven't seen that.
Yeah, I mean he doesn't look like him at all. It's incredible.
And then he was in. I really want to see the Ford versus Ferrari, the one that he was in with Matt Damon.
I know, kind of like doesn't look that good, but because he's in it, I'll probably watch it.
Yeah, I kind of want to see how he is going to be in it. And then who knew that he could be so good as Batman? Because when I
Well,
first heard that
yeah.
he was going to be Batman, I was like, okay, he can be Bruce Wayne, but I don't know if he could be Batman. And then, he totally did his own thing with the
Yeah,
character. It was really
and
good.
like in The Fighter and what's that film, The Machinist, where he
Yeah,
looked
when he
so
lost all that
oh
weight.
my god, that film was so painful to watch
Yeah,
because he was so bony,
when he's running, it looks like a skeleton, like
He did.
running.
Yeah.
Really crazy. I have that on DVD too, which I have no idea why I have The Machinist on DVD because I've probably watched it like twice. But I guess I have no idea when I bought it, but I guess I just bought it. Maybe we'll review it as a bonus. Who the fuck knows? It's a
Yeah.
really fucking crazy movie.
And you know what's really cool as well? That like that's Empire of the Sun is one of the first movies I watched that I remember. Like and I didn't really know it was Christian Bale until like years later. It's only
I don't
like
think I've seen that. Empire of the Sun?
yeah, have you seen it?
I don't think so.
Oh
Doesn't
wow.
sound.
Okay, you're in for a treat. It's fucking insane.
Oh wow.
He was like 11, I think. I think he was
Oh,
11.
it's one of the really early ones.
Yeah. And I remember thinking like the film is incredible, but that boy, the little boy in it, is just insane. He's so good. And it was only like later on when I started watching more films with Christian Bale that I was like, wait, is that like the little boy in Empire of the Sun? So yeah,
Wow.
definitely watch it. It's like
Yeah, I see it.
Uh,
Spielberg directed it.
yeah, it's insane. It's a really great story. You like it for sure.
Cool. Oh, nice. Let's see. My first experience with American Psycho, I saw it in college because it came out in 2000. So I was like, I guess I was like 19 or 20 by the time I saw it. And I loved it. And I read the book some years later. Have you ever read the book?
No, but it sounds
Oh,
terrifying.
it's
And
yeah.
like
The thing is, they could have never made the story like the book. The book
exactly.
is insane. I mean,
Isn't
it's
it like kind of realistic
yeah. I mean,
sort
you
of
see a bit
vibe?
of
Like
cannibalism in the end of this film, but it basically really revolves around he's even more sick in the book. Like they just couldn't have made that, and it wouldn't have been, I think, so like satirical if it had been made in that way.
yeah,
But I do like that they changed elements of it. Like this is an instance where I do like that it's not exactly the book. Most of the time, people are like, this isn't the same movie or this isn't the same story, but it actually is really cool. And I think I might have a copy. If I have one, then I'll totally give it to you.
I'm
But
not sure I want to read it.
oh, if you don't want to read it, then yeah. I mean, it's really
No,
crazy.
I don't enjoy that kind of.
Oh, okay. He's a great writer. Bret Easton Ellis is the author of the book. He's written a lot of things. Lesson Zero is another great one by Bret Easton Ellis. Also another great film in the late '80s with what's his name, Robert Downey Jr. And then also The Rules of Attraction, which is such a good movie.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
He did that too, yeah. And yeah, so it's really weird. He has like that kind of vibe in his stories. It's all kind of like, did this really happen? What the fuck's going on? Like, it's just kind of crazy. Yeah. So then I read the books years later, and then there are just a lot of things that it's still so relevant in pop culture, which I think is funny. Like a few years ago, they did that kind of parody with Margot Robbie, where she did the whole Patrick Bateman morning routine
Oh
for Vogue.
really? Oh,
You
I
haven't
don't.
seen that?
I didn't see that. No.
Oh yeah, it's on YouTube. Yeah, I'll send it to you and I'll put it in the notes. It's really cool. It's literally her doing the exact morning routine, but it's for like I think Vogue Australia or something like that, which is really cool. And then the one thing that I love Justin Theroux, who plays Timothy Bryce, I believe his name is. Yeah, he's just so good. I really love him. And this also rewatching this morning, I noticed that the pace of this film is very fast. Like
Is
the
it
scenes, yeah, the
really?
scenes are really short and it moves very quickly, at least in like the first act. It moves very, very quickly. Like as soon as you meet someone and they have a conversation, it just moves. It just
Oh,
keeps moving.
you're right. Yeah, it
Which
is.
you get like kind of a good baseline of who he is as a person in the first 15 minutes. Because 5 minutes in, you see that morning routine, which is pretty quick in a
Yeah,
film.
it
Really
clearly
cool.
shows you like right away that he's completely insane. You know?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like OCD is not even the word for what he is. I mean, he
No.
literally is very compelled to control every single thing around him, which is it's just nuts. And also, this film really reminds me of Donnie Darko,
Does
too.
it? Why?
Yeah, because I feel like first of all they're both in the 80s and they both take place in the 80s, and secondly they both seem to run on like two different trajectories. Like there are two films happening at the same time within the
Mm,
film, and you don't really know which one to believe. So they both are. That's kind of the only similarity because it's not obviously like Donnie Darko's like his character is obviously really different than Patrick Bateman, but he has all these visions and things are kind of happening in this very a bit more of a fantasy way in Donnie Darko, but it still has this kind of you just kind of accept it and watch it. And you don't, there are two things kind of happening at once. You have like a normal story pattern and then you have this like weird pattern, which is this
yeah,
one's like that too.
yeah. That's right. Yeah, that's true.
So I just noticed that watching it, and then I feel like this kind of also feels like a slow descent into people's minds while we're in this kind of quarantine lockdown. Like for a while, everything seems normal, and then now it's just like the repetitiveness. I think of the day is kind of and just people's lives right now, and what's going on in the real world just kind of makes people feel kind of manic and kind of. It's kind of weird. I feel like we've been in this weird situation so long that I don't know. Like I don't know where the end is. I don't know where like there's any light at the end of a tunnel,
I
so to
know.
speak.
I feel
So
the same way. Yeah.
Fear. So this film felt like that. There was everything was kind of normal, whatever. He's doing all his weird shit, and then there's just like this slow descent into like complete madness, and just complete, just like losing your mind. So I was like, okay, this kind of feels like, I don't know what's going on. It kind of feels like lockdown, but obviously not in that way. Yeah, so those are the notes I had. I had another interesting thing we could do since on me and Mikey's episode we end up doing fuck, marry, kills all the time, and let's just do one now since I have one written here.
What's that?
Fuck, marry, kill. Like, who would you fuck? Who would you marry? Who would you kill?
Oh yeah, you did that with Mikey, and it was really fun.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
cool.
I have one here. Okay, now these are their characters. These are not the actors. This is not Christian Bale. This would be Bateman. these are the characters. Now we're not going to do the actors. So
Yeah.
okay, fuck, marry, kill. Bateman, Patrick Bateman, Paul Allen, aka Jared Leto, or Timothy Bryce, who's Thoreau. I know you don't really like him, so I was trying to think of a third.
I would definitely. I know it's terrible. People are gonna judge me, but yeah, I would totally fuck Patrick Bateman.
Okay.
And kill. Oh.
Who would you marry? You're gonna marry Paul Allen?
No, because he's just like an idiot. I don't like him. I don't like his personality.
Who? Paul Allen?
Yeah. I guess I will marry Chloe Sevigny.
Oh, you're gonna go off. You're gonna go off the track. I mean, I'd probably marry Chloe Sevigny too.
Yeah.
But
Can you imagine all the fun we will have dressing up? Yeah.
You would just dress her. You would just be like, "We need to have paparazzi picture taken today. I'm gonna put you in this outfit."
So it's basically who you sleep with, who you will marry, and who you will kill.
Yeah.
I guess I'll kill Reese Witherspoon just because she's annoying.
You're going off my list. My list.
Oh, sorry.
Bryce, who's Justin Theroux, and Paul Allen.
Really? Why? I'm surprised about that.
Why?
I don't know. I just don't like his character at all.
Oh, Bryce?
Yeah.
Bryce?
No, I just don't. I don't. Or Jared Leto, like as Paul Allen.
That's the point. Okay, Jai is reading way too much into this. This should be like a 30-second decision.
Sorry.
Yeah, you're like, but I don't like him. Like, you're not actually.
No. I'm going to stick to my original choice actually for each of those.
So you're gonna fuck Bateman. What are you gonna do with Paul Allen? You're gonna kill him, and you're gonna marry Timothy Bryce.
No, I told you I'm gonna marry Chloe.
Oh, okay. So you're still gonna go off book.
Yes. Do you mind?
No, I don't care. It's fine. For mine, I would marry Patrick Bateman. I would.
What?
Yeah, totally, completely. Timothy Bryce is like, I mean, he's like super homophobic. He's like anti-Semitic as well.
Oh yeah.
I would totally just. I mean, yeah, he just goes. I mean, I love the actor Justin Theroux, but his character fucking sucks. And I would totally just bang Jared Leto. I mean, let's be real. But or Paul Allen as he is. But he just looks really small in this movie. Just don't like.
I like Babyface. I don't know if he's like a boy. Not sure.
Right before Requiem for a Dream too, where he lost all that weight and dyed his hair black. Mm-hmm. So I think he like looks a little bit different. But I definitely want to marry Patrick Bateman just because I like want him around all the time. As long as I'm not the one that's in his path and I'm just like being a co-conspirator.
You should include the girls. That would have been more fun.
Okay, now we can do one with the girls. Who's the third girl? There would be Reese Witherspoon, Chloe Sevigny, and who would the other one be? The girl that Lewis is with. The one who's
oh yeah, what's her name? I can't remember.
Courtney.
The best friend, Courtney.
Yeah, Courtney. Her character name is Courtney. Okay, so who would you fuck, marry, kill out of those three?
I would have sex with Courtney, marry Chloe, and kill Evelyn. Or Reese
same.
Yeah,
totally. And I love how Reese Witherspoon literally plays the same character.
She does.
Like
she did it in like what is it called? Little Fires Everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Lies.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
The other ones are kind of the same. She's always like privileged. Like now she's privileged suburban mom, but in this one she's like, and even in Cruel Intentions, like she's still like privileged, like goody. That's kind of like her vibe. Except for the movie Freeway. Have you seen that?
I don't know.
For Sutherland, it's good. Oh, and we also did Fear, which is she's like still a goody goody in that one too, and though she got with Mark Wahlberg, but still, yeah, she always kind of plays that kind of role. But okay, cool. So we've done our fuck, marry, kill.
Yeah.
So behind the scenes and director info, I have a good amount of director info here. What do you
Okay. Director. Well, she is. Yeah, I was surprised to know that she's Canadian, but she moved to England at 13. But I mean, that's not the most impressive thing. Is that she was a rock journalist,
have?
and she helped to start Punk magazine, which is really cool.
Yeah, she was in the Punk Attitude documentary that was.
Yeah, no, I know. I remember now. You mentioned
Yeah,
you
it was like
mentioned her.
American.
Yeah, and apparently she was the first writer to interview the Sex Pistols for an American publication.
I know, it's so cool.
So cool, right? I just don't know how you got from being like a music or like rock journalist to I mean, I can see how, but like her films are not exactly like music orientated sort of thing, or
No,
you know, her music. In fact, I haven't seen any of her other films.
I haven't either. I was gonna say, have you seen the like Who Shot Andy Warhol or like I Shot
No, I kind of
I
want to
want
watch
to see
that.
that. Yeah, I want to see that too. Maybe we'll review it since we were doing this and came out in like '96, I think. But I know it's about Valerie Solanas, and she was really into like her life, and she had a really interesting life too. Valerie
Yeah.
Solanas, the woman who shot him. So yeah, it's cool. Do you have any more?
No, that's it. What about you?
Okay, I have just behind the scenes. I have almost the same thing that you have, and then I have just basically this film was a big, huge kind of production. Like it had been in and out of development for a long time. Someone bought the rights to the book in like '94. There had been just like things, had fallen out of development. Someone wanted to do it. I feel like it's especially when you just have that book as source material, you definitely have to have a script because if you read that book, you'd be like, what the fuck? We can't make this. Like,
Yeah.
like someone's got to do something. So it just changed a lot of hands for a while. And what happened was after Columbine, a lot of movie studios were really hesitant to pick it up because of the nature of the murders and the violence. And that was a huge time in American like culture, not obviously not a good time, but yeah, so I can't believe that it was made so close after Columbine. What do you
Oh,
think?
that's right. Yeah, which I obviously completely like. I'm not clued up, basically.
Oh yeah, I mean, you know about it, right? Like you
Sort
know.
of, but
It was a massacre, like a school shooting massacre in April of '99. So it
yeah,
literally happened like a month after they started filming, and it was just yeah, it was insane. Like I remember seeing that on TV, like when I came back from school. I remember seeing it live, and I was like, "What the fuck?" Like the kids running out and everything. So even after all that, obviously that's why studios were like, "We don't want to do anything that's glorifying." They'd have a lot of scripts were done, and then when it was ready they were like, okay, we don't know, like we're not sure, maybe this isn't the right time for it to come out and all that kind of stuff. And then Mary Harron cast Bale at first on kind of like a good faith deal, like it wasn't like a contract necessarily. And then same with Willem Dafoe and Jared Leto were attached too. And then there just been 6 years of rejection throughout this entire. It just took a long time for this film to be made. Lionsgate, the production company, wanted Ed Norton and Leo for the Patrick Bateman role.
yeah, it's insane. I was shocked to
Crazy,
see
right?
that.
I'd heard about Leo, but never Norton.
No, okay. So did you hear that Keanu Reeves was offered the role too, and Brad Pitt?
What? No, I didn't hear about them.
Yeah. So it's. I mean, I have so much in like production that I was like, whoa! Like
There's a lot,
basically, Oliver Stone was meant to do it.
which
He
is
was meant,
crazy.
and then obviously they had a huge, well, not huge budget, but the moment they asked Leo, the budget went up by a lot because he was asking for a lot of money. And so in the end, like I don't know, I can't remember what happened, but Leo just decided not to do it, and then Oliver Stone also like kind of said, no, I'm not interested. And but Keanu Reeves was offered the role, and he just thought that it was a bad move, and so he didn't. Yeah, he didn't want to do it.
Well, then he
Uh,
did The Matrix around the same time. because it
But yeah,
came out in
exactly.
'99. So I would assume that.
It's kind of, you have the hottest actors being offered to do this role. You know, Keanu, Bret, Johnny, Leo. Like,
Oh my gosh! Side note about Keanu Reeves. I just read in like a gossip. I think it was like Daily Mail or some bullshit like that. That some Australian girl apparently had like a 3-week affair with Keanu Reeves, like when he was filming The Matrix.
Hoodie.
Some Australian. I think she's like a reality actress or like a TV show host.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
like, she was talking about how good he was in the sack.
Oh, I mean, yeah.
I was like, oh, I love it. This is like the first thing.
Obviously.
Well, not obviously. That is not an obviously. No one knows. You never know. Like
Sort of
everything.
perfect, but yeah, you're right. We don't know.
But I was like, oh, okay. Well, that's good to know. Thanks for that information, Daily Mail. But oh, actually, I know why. I when you were talking about Leo, Mary Harron refused to meet with Leo.
Yeah,
Because
that's right. Yeah.
like Titanic, Romeo and Juliet, like he's too boyish. Like
Yeah.
it's not gonna work out. Not to mention, I could never see. Everyone. This is not a body shaming comment, but I could never see Leonardo DiCaprio like that physically muscular. He just has like a really. He just has a very like slender kind of frame at the top, like his shoulders and his chest, but
Yeah.
Christian Bale has more of like he just has more of like a defined like muscular kind of physique. And maybe it's because Leo's never done that for a role. I mean, I don't know, maybe he can get that big, but he just never has.
Maybe. But I don't think he's into that.
No,
Into
I don't.
changing his entire physique
Yeah,
for a
he
role.
does that. Yeah,
Um,
he doesn't do that.
but yeah, like it's like even when I feel like they just didn't want like a really big actor as, you know, as Patrick Bateman. And I feel like obviously Christian Bale was just doing supporting roles back then, you know, like he
Yeah,
hadn't had
Velvet
like a leading
Goldmine
role.
was like
Yeah.
right before this, right? Which is another great one, which is on the list to review.
Yeah, and like a lot of people advised Christian Bale not to take the role because they thought that due to like the nature of the film, like it would be like some kind of like career suicide.
Mhm.
And but he just like really believed in the film, and so he actually turned down like other films
Yeah,
and
I read.
auditions for like almost a year. I think like 9 months or something. So he could just, you know, like
I think he was hoping that Leo was going to drop out because they were.
yeah, that's some serious faith there. Like
Yeah,
that, you know, that this role has been given to someone else, and you still, you know, think that somehow there'll be, I don't know, like he will drop and then you'll take the role. That's kind of crazy.
yeah, and a massive star like Leo. Like if I was him as an actor, I'd be like, well, shit, there's no way they're going to give it to me, and
Yeah.
instead of Leo or like Ed Norton or like all these people that have had like Oscar nominations at that point, or just like A list, and obviously Titanic, Leo. I mean, God, he actually ended up doing The Beach instead at that time, Leo. Which that movie was okay. I just saw that pretty recently, like
Really? Oh, I
yeah,
didn't love that film. I
yeah,
watched it when it first came out. I was like, no, this is
yeah,
the
it was
one.
okay, but I was like, this is okay. I mean, I remember when it came out, and I was like, oh yeah, he has like short hair, like he has like it was weird because he had that weird haircut, and I was like, oh, this is kind of strange. But yeah, then I finally saw it, and I was like, oh. Oh, and also when Oliver Stone was writing it and like conceptualizing this with Leo, he didn't want any satire in the film. Like he wanted to really explore more of like the psychological nature of Patrick, which would have been fucking awful. If it had just been like a murder spree type weird, I feel like it just wouldn't have been the same at all. So God bless the women who like took this shit out of the men's hands and was like, look, we're gonna fucking do this. Like this is some bullshit. We got it. All right. Like we got it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it worked out for the best, really, because
Yeah.
having the women on board, like, I don't know, it feels like it made all the difference, you know, because,
Good. Yeah. And
yeah.
especially the way that I just love, I mean, I don't love, but I love in the sense of like for the story, I love the kind of like casual misogyny that they all have all the time. Like when all of the guys are together, all they're doing is just talking shit about women. And I feel like you definitely think like, oh, a guy definitely wrote this, like, but it's really funny to think that like, no, this is what women hear and know that you're saying about them. And now they're just going to put it in front of you and be like, yeah, we know this is how you talk about us sometimes. There you go. There it is.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
It's really interesting. Do you have any
They,
more production notes?
yeah, I mean, basically, like during, like when he filmed that scene, that the chainsaw scene,
Mhm.
where he's just in his like underwear, that he will actually just hang out in between takes, just wearing nothing but a sock over his penis and sneakers, and like he was quite happy to just be almost naked.
Missed my
Um,
calling as a PA on like these
I
guys.
know, yeah. Like the director said that basically during the scene where he's like in the shower, like
Mhm.
all the women on set were just like around, like just like
Milling
watching
around.
him wash because obviously everyone was like, I mean, he looks insanely fit in the film.
Crazy.
He's just ripped. He's got like the perfect physique, really.
Yeah, it's not like too big. It's
No,
not too
he's not big. He's just
bulky.
really defined and like.
It's really defined. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, if I was working on film, I'll be perving thoroughly as well. Like.
Yeah, completely.
Yeah, what else did you have?
That's all I had for production notes. I have just more story plot points. I don't have too many story plot points, but yeah, are you done with your production? Or you got some more?
I have some more.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So, like, apparently, obviously, as you can imagine, he like spent several hours in the gym, but apparently it was like 4 hours, and then he had like an on-set trainer, so he was like working out constantly every day during, you know, filming and like I don't know, whatever. But he also had like a lot of work, like dental work done, but they don't know whether he was asked to do it by the director or he just decided to do it on his own because obviously he wanted to look good. But he does sort of speak funny in
Yeah,
the film. Is that intent? Like, was that meant to be that way? You think, or
I
is
think
it
so.
really?
I think
Because he
so.
he speaks as if he had like some kind of mouth guard or
Yeah,
something.
he talks like he has like oatmeal in his mouth, and he talks with like a slight lisp because you can see his like tongue come out a little bit. Like
Yeah.
some words he has a slight lisp too.
Oh, his teeth is like perfect
Hmm.
in the film.
And the way he like
Yeah,
opens his mouth, he doesn't open his mouth like really wide when he talks. He kind of has it. I mean, except for when he's like screaming or something, it's loud, but it does sound like there's a retainer. Like when you have a
yeah,
retainer on, it sounds like that.
yeah. I just love how committed he is. Like not just to change his physique, but also like to really get into his characters.
Yeah.
Like he's one of those that like if he was I don't know playing someone like um crazy, he would actually go to like a mental sort of institute and
I
like be
think
there. Just like I think Brad Pitt did that for 12 Monkeys, so I'm
he's
sure.
very method too.
Yeah, yeah.
Because if you watch on-set interviews, he has the same accent. Probably just because he doesn't want to break it, because obviously he's Welsh, right? Does he have a Welsh accent or does he have
He's
more of
not
an
Welsh, so no,
Oh,
he's
he's not?
not.
I
I
thought he
know he would be.
was.
No, he's
Was he born
English.
there?
Yeah, so both of his parents are English, but he just
Oh,
happened to be born
born
in
there.
Wales,
Oh,
and
okay.
but he lived in like a lot of places. I think he lived in obviously England for like most of his like childhood. And he lived, I think, because of his parents' jobs. He lived in like Portugal as well,
Oh,
and
okay.
and then his parents got divorced. I think when he was 17 or 16, and so he went to live with his dad to LA.
Oh, wow. So that's how he like
Yeah,
moved.
but I mean, both of his parents are English. He's like English, and it is actually quite rude. Like I've seen interviews when people say like, "Oh, Welsh," and he's like, "I'm not Welsh. Like I was born there, but I'm not." It's very different. I mean, because like,
Oh,
yeah, people in the UK don't want to be like. It's kind of an insult if you say like, "Oh, I'm Scottish," and no, you're Scottish, and
and
they'll be
someone
like,
says
no, I'm
you're
Welsh or I'm English, and
yeah,
it's
the
kind of
other.
not quite the same. It's very different. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Didn't know that. Learned something new. Yeah, I thought that he was Welsh. I guess that's always what.
No, and I love that he still has his accent, but you don't ever get to hear it because he always plays like, like American roles.
Yeah, he does.
But in interviews, he sounds pretty English still. So
And he's going to be in the new Thor, which is really weird that he's going to do a Marvel movie. I mean, not that weird because he was Batman, but I think that's going to be really interesting too to see what
yeah,
he's going to do there.
yeah, yeah. That's it. That's it. Sorry.
Cool. No, that's cool. I just have a few plot points moving throughout the film. I love the intro so much where it just looks like blood splatter, and then you just slowly see that it's like food being plated
Me
at a
too.
really
I am so glad you
fancy
said that because
restaurant.
it's pretty cool. Yeah.
It's really great. That's one of my favorites, and I love within 5 minutes we get like the infamous beauty routine, which is the most insane beauty routine I've ever seen, and I'm incredible. And the thing is, it still holds up. Like it's
It does.
totally. And how many times did they have to do a take for that mask removal? Because I can never get a peel off mask to fully peel all the
One
way.
part. Yeah.
Yeah, at one time. I really wonder how many times it took for them to do that. And his skin is just, oh my God. His skin throughout the whole movie, I was like, God, he's
So
glowing.
perfect. Yeah,
Yeah, it's like
no.
he has a peel, like a facial peel all the time, which he probably does. I mean, Patrick Bateman's character totally does get facials probably like 3 times a week or something, like at the minimum, which I thought was really cool. And then I have like Bateman's casual, charming misogyny to his secretary, Jean, aka Chloe Sevigny. Uh, and I love her outfits too, with they're like so 80s, those blazers with the big shoulder pads.
Yeah, I love everything she wears. I love
Yeah.
that nude dress that she wears when she comes around his
Yeah,
face.
yeah, it's really cool too. And then I also really love I mean, I have a lot of favorite scenes, but not I didn't list all of them, but I didn't put the ones that I feel like are really known. Like I didn't put the beauty routine because I knew I knew that everyone was going to think that, so I was trying to pick other ones. But I also love like the sarcasm and the irony when he's talking about when he's at dinner at a spas with like Evelyn
Oh
and with
yeah.
all of them, like I think like someone's cousin, or they're like the weird gothy ones.
Yeah.
And then he just kind of goes like, no, we need to like stop world hunger and stop racial discrimination. And it's like all of this like very liberal like kind of ideology that's a complete joke to them.
Yeah.
And he's just like, and we need to do this, and we need to like help people and build things for the homeless and all this kind of stuff. And everyone's just like, what? Like,
Yeah, I love that too. I love that a lot. Yeah. That seems
that
so
seems
cool.
really cool. And then another one of my favorite scenes is the fucking business cards.
I knew
Um,
you were gonna have that. That's why
I
I
mean, it's
didn't
not
add
if
it.
I didn't list it as my favorite scene. I'm just like going through. I was just like, this is very true. Um, I am not a business card nut because business cards are like a little different now. Like today, we obviously have phones and like Instagram and other things to use, but obviously back then it was all about business cards. But this is very true. Like if you give me a business card, I'm judging the fuck out of that card. I'm looking at that font. I'm looking at your placement. I'm looking at everything, and I'm a font nerd.
You
And
are.
I definitely think Patrick Bateman's card was the worst, according to font. And I definitely don't like Paul Allen's either. I don't know why they were freaking out about that. But I do love that the name of the color of his card was bone.
Oh
And they're
yeah.
like, oh, I love this. He's like, that's bone. Like, of course it would be. But yeah, did you like that business card scene? Is that one of your favorite scenes, or you didn't put it
I
down?
feel like I felt that it was too obvious, so that I didn't want to
Yeah,
include it
yeah, that's
because
what
it is. I mean, it is like a business card moment. Like it's just so funny, that it's
so
just such a
true.
big deal, and he gets really upset and agitated, and he has to go to the bathroom. Like,
It's just really funny.
yeah, no, mine are. Well, yeah, I've included the morning beauty routine just because I love everything he says. Like, he's like totally spot on with all the products that he uses.
Yeah.
And he's like, I start with an ice pack while I do my crunches, then
Could you
followed by a
imagine?
deep pore lotion and gel cleanser, body scrub, face exfoliating gel scrub, facial mask, like aftershave lotion with no alcohol because it makes your skin look
It's
older.
true.
Like, it is true. I know. You're like a bit of a beauty queen yourself, so yeah, like
I
it
like
is.
skincare. I'm like a skincare kind of nerd. I do not really wear makeup, which I guess is probably not. I mean, I guess I will once in a blue moon, but especially like foundation and stuff, I've just never been into because
Oh yeah,
I'm always really anxious that I'm gonna like sweat, and it's like I don't know. I just feel really anxious about it that like I'll have that line, that like that jaw line, like where you blend. Like I wouldn't mind if I was getting it done professionally. I'm not opposed to wearing it, but I don't think I
mm,
have the skills to really. I haven't really tried, but I just don't really want to. I see so many bad makeup, like people have
yes,
really bad makeup, so I just get really paranoid that like I'll try to put it on and then I'll go out and people will be like, "Oh God, that girl's like
yeah. I
that
just don't like.
color," or like
I don't. Yeah. I
So
don't
yeah,
like
I do
the
like skincare.
I don't like the thought of having something so thick on my face, or I feel like it just really changes you.
It really does.
I feel like I want to kind of remain really close to who I am. I think like I don't want to be like those girls who wear a ton of makeup and then you see them at night
I mean,
when once they
like,
remove it and they look like a different person.
yeah,
I can't. Yeah, I don't like that. I feel like I've
yeah.
always
I feel like
tried to.
yeah,
Yeah,
same for special occasions. Yeah, I would wear it, but I would just
yeah,
wear like really nice lipstick, like a
yeah.
really
Exactly.
bold lipstick and like eyeshadow and maybe not eyeshadow, like mascara and eyeliner, but like that's it.
Yeah,
Unless
that's
I'm
my
getting my
thing.
photo taken, like if it's somewhere I know there are cameras, like a maybe like a wedding or something where I know there's a camera, like a photographer floating around, then that might be a reason why I would wear like foundation because it just your skin just will look a lot more even. Same if I was an influencer or like a YouTuber, like yeah, I would wear definite like a skin tint because on screen you can see every like pore and every like discoloration and it just looks cleaner, but in real life it's very different. In real life I
Yeah,
feel like you can tell when people have like face foundation on, but on screen you kind of need it. It kind of like evens you out and just makes you look a bit more like whatever.
yeah,
But
yeah.
I
Anyway,
love I love Patrick's inner monologue throughout, like during the business card scene, which I thought was really funny. And I love all of the food dishes that
yes,
they mentioned, like sea
me
urchin
too.
ceviche. Like the Paul
Well,
Allen's
not
like,
that because I
yeah,
eat
but
that,
oh
but
no, I don't like it. Like I want to eat it, but I just love all of the combinations. Like even in the beginning when it first starts and the guy's like at the restaurant, he's like, "Do you want to have our you want to hear our specials?" It's like swordfish with like plum wine sauce. It's all this like really,
yeah,
really
really
intricate.
fancy,
Yeah.
like innovative, like the foods and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, throughout everything, every restaurant they go to, there's some kind of like, I think he one time says like peanut butter squash soup with like a charcoal Caesar. Like it's all very so highbrow and so
Yeah.
like probably gross, but it just is really expensive and it's just like another
No, it would
status.
be nice. It wouldn't be gross, though. I don't
Oh,
think.
I don't know about sea urchin ceviche,
I've had food like that like many times, and it does sound weird, but it's
but it's
actually
good.
even
Oh, okay.
stuff that I don't eat, that I don't ever eat because like like seafood and that. But whenever I had it in places like that, it's really insane. It's like amazing
Oh wow,
because
okay.
it's. I mean, it's like a fusion. They combine so many things that it doesn't really taste like
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 how it sounds.
yeah, exactly, yeah.
Yeah, I did have a few things in Iceland that were a little strange, which I'll never turn down trying any food, like if I'm traveling somewhere. I had like raw baby shark, which was kind of
Oh
strange,
no!
but
Oh
yeah, but it was
god!
served with this like really incredible vodka, like this really expensive, incredible
Oh, baby
vodka.
shark. That's
I
sad.
know, yeah, it was like raw too. And
Oh
then
god.
they also had yeah, Iceland has a lot of weird stuff. But and what's something else I had? Oh yeah, I had like a weird like balsamic kind of like dessert, which was
Hmm.
kind of strange, but that was supposed to go with the fish. I don't know. I ate it. It was good. I had some like South African food in Italy. It was like a South African Italian fusion place. So we had that was pretty cool, but it definitely like looked weird. And when they said what it was, I was like, oh, okay. Well, I mean, I'm not in my country, so I'm trying this shit. And
Yeah,
then
no,
I
that is cool. That's the right mindset.
yeah,
Yeah.
if I can choose what I want to eat, then yeah, I mean, I'm gonna choose unless I'm feeling like crazy. But yeah, when you travel, like addendum, just fucking try it. Try anything, even if you go
Yeah.
to another state in the U.S. Like just try it.
But if you go to like someone's house and you stay over for dinner and stuff that you would never eat, like I wouldn't, I would be too embarrassed to say I don't eat that,
Oh
so I
no,
would
yeah,
just
I've
eat
eaten
it.
lots of stuff at friends'
Yeah,
houses.
I even had to have like fish, which obviously I don't. Yeah, it was like it wasn't fish. It was I went to like the south, like Charleston, and they had something I can't remember what it was. Oysters, that's it, oysters. And I was like, oh, I don't really want to eat this,
The
but it's
consistency. Were they raw? Were they like Rockefeller oysters? Rockefeller?
no, they were sort of in the fire. Like it was tasting
Oh,
so good. Yeah.
okay.
I mean, it didn't taste bad, but I genuinely don't like eating those things. But I'm not gonna say I don't
Yeah,
eat that, and I
you
just wanted to be part of, the celebration. So I ate it.
Yeah, only allergies will stop me from eating anything. Like that's the only thing really. But after that, I'm like, okay, I'll try it. I don't like Brussels sprouts, but my mom never made them. But when I was over my friend's place when I was, I don't know, like she's English, and I think it was like maybe like 9 or 10, and I remember being like, it's really weird because in cartoons and weird kind of sitcoms, like when you're young, there was always like, ew, Brussels sprouts. Like that's always like the gross vegetable that they always kind of like tell you as a kid is just gross. So I never had them, but I was like, oh, I've heard they're really bad. And then they were cooking them and I could smell them, and I was like, oh shit. And then I ate them and they were gross, but I ate them and I was like,
I know Brussels sprouts are yummy. Like I love them.
I
I
would
could
try
eat
them
them.
again. I think I would try them again. I would maybe grill them.
No, I'll make them for you sometime when
Yeah, like
finishing
I
it
would
up,
try them
because
again.
they're great, like caramelized and like in the oven.
Yeah,
Like,
see, yeah,
they're
that I
really
would.
delicious. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they were just like boiled, like they were plain,
Yeah,
you
boiled
know.
are not fun, but I mean, I still like them. But yeah, they're very English. Like
Yeah,
it's they're very popular in the UK.
it's cool. Yeah, and then yeah, all the food dishes, and I love that they call Patrick Marcus, or Paul Allen just calls him
Oh
Marcus
yeah,
Halberstram, and he's just like, how did you get? And then they get to go to this restaurant. It's like fucking awful, like the Texarkana restaurant. And he's like, yeah, you couldn't get a reservation at Dorsia, like apparently like the nicest place that you never actually see in
hmm
the whole film, that everyone tries to get a reservation in, but no one can except for Paul Allen. And then I love how they go to the dinner, and then that leads to Paul Allen going up to Patrick Bateman's place, and then that leads to like probably another iconic scene is when he kills him with
yeah.
that
That's
raincoat.
in my favorite scene.
Yeah, that is a good one. I
Like
really love just the fact that he talks about Huey Lewis. I love all of his musical breakdowns that always happen before something violent happens. Like he
yeah.
always talks about really in depth of all these artists and all these musicians, and it's really funny.
No, I know. I mean, I don't enjoy the part where he actually like kills Paul Allen, but everything that happens from the moment they get to his apartment, and like all the dialogue, how he's like basically I think he's already put his raincoat on, and then he
Mhm.
says he has been compared to Elvis Costello, but I
Mhm.
think here he has a far more bitter, cynical sense of humor, and he does the moonlight dancing, and it's apparently that was improvised,
Oh,
by the
really?
way. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
that's cool.
And then he's like, in '87, he releases their most accomplished album, and then he does that funny, like he shakes his hips like in a really
Oh,
funny way.
yeah. Mhm.
Everything there is just really fucking hilarious.
Like
And then
Hipsy
he's like,
Square.
I know, he's like kills him, and he's like, try to get a reservation at Dorsey and now, you fucking bastard.
Yeah, that's my in one of my quotes.
Yeah,
That's definitely one
it's
of
too
my quotes.
funny. Uh,
And then also I even when he has the call girls, he's dissecting Phil Collins. And then when he has that girl again, and then the other girl later on, he's dissecting Whitney Houston, and that girl's like, "You own a Whitney Houston album? Wait, you own more than one?" And then just
I
started laughing.
know.
I was like, "Oh my god!" I was like, "I love that he just always dissects like all these different musical acts." And then he's trying to listen to Robert Palmer earlier. He's like, "I'm trying to listen to this Robert Palmer tape, but like my fucking fiance is just like buzzing in my ear." Like he's always listening to music, which I
He
like
is.
too.
Yeah.
I like that that's a huge part of his like just his life in general, you know? And I also
Yeah.
think it's really funny that not funny, but like it's strange that he has porn on in one scene on the TV while he's like trying to make a reservation. And then another one, he's like doing crunches and doing ab crunches to like Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
I know.
Where the
It's so
girl's like
sick.
screaming. I was like, what the fuck is
So
this?
sick.
And then I have here, it seems the whole business card scene is just a euphemism for like measuring all their dicks. Like that's what you guys all want to do because they're very like, oh, that's nice. Wow. And they're like jealous of
Mhm.
each other. And that's like just an extension of like who they are, that they can't, like, that they can show they have more money or they do this. I was like, this just sounds like a locker room. And you guys just want to see like whose dick is bigger and who's got the best card and who's like doing the best and all that kind of stuff. And he's very
Yeah, no,
insecure
that's
too
true. He's a little bit.
because he's trying to impress the women. as well. Like he's
That
trying
is
to
true.
impress
Yeah.
women all the time by where he can go to have a reservation, but he can't. And then he's talking about the wine. Like another one of my favorite quotes is like, "That's a very fine Chardonnay you're not drinking."
Yeah.
And I feel like he always is trying to portray so many different things. Like he's so conflicted. He just doesn't really know like where he is. And he's always referencing serial killers, like Ed Gein, who Silence of the Lambs is, I think, based off of, and like Ted Bundy.
I know. He
Um,
says like, "Don't you know Ted Bundy?" And she says no, and he's like,
yeah,
"Never mind." Yeah, I know.
I think
So
in
many references.
'87 he was in jail because he was executed in '90. So I believe in '87 she would have probably known who it was, which is, whatever.
Yeah, it is really weird that some people think of this film as like the American version of A Clockwork Orange, because I
What?
think it's kind of ridiculous.
I've
Like,
never heard that.
I mean, I'm sure the author, like maybe got some inspiration, like tiny bit, but it's very different. I mean, like Patrick Bateman is a psychopath, and like Alex isn't. But I think it's just because there is that element like that of music in the film that's like a big part of it.
We should do an episode on A Clockwork Orange because I think it would be
Yeah,
interesting because
yeah,
it's
yeah,
not a
yeah.
favorite of mine, but I haven't seen it in a really long time. So maybe I'll have a complete different take on it, but it's one of your favorites. I kind of want to
It's my
know,
favorite. Yeah,
I kind of want to like know more about why, like, like know more about maybe there's something I'm missing because I had to dissect it. So
yeah.
maybe there's something I'm missing. It's been a really long time. So maybe we should do one on that, which
Yes.
would be really good.
Yeah.
Let's see. Moving through, I wrote like his music rants are epic at the most violent times, and then the third act, which is like after the "Feed Me a Stray Cat" ATM, and then it just kind of like spirals. Like that woman comes up to him and he shoots her. Then the cops, and then he's like shooting all these cops in the street, and I'm like, whoa, what the fuck's going on? And then he's just frantically running around, and I love when he goes up into like the wrong office, and then he goes and like calls the lawyer, and he just tells him like,
Oh
I
my
killed
god.
this person, I did this, I did that, I did this. Like I love the lighting and the way that's actually one of my favorite scenes was like the lawyer confession, just because I love
Yeah.
the lighting and the way they shot it, because he's like on the
Yeah.
ground, it's dark, but he has like half of his face lit in this really like monster lighting like kind of way, which I really like it, and how he's just like
Yeah.
so manic and so crazy. Yeah, and then like the
I
third act is just nuts, but
I feel that scene where, like, from the moment he is at the cash point, and
Mhm.
then how you see like the city, like the financial district, and then he runs and then calls his lawyer. Don't you think that's very like Alfred Hitchcock? Like
It
that the
is.
way it was shot, it was very much like that style.
Yeah, it is.
It
It
really
totally is.
reminded me of his movies. Yeah, I love that too. Like the cinematography is really cool. Just
Yeah,
like
it
yeah.
is really cool. My mom was like, "Are you gonna do any Hitchcock movies?" I was like, "Well, that's not '90s, but I was like, maybe after we exhaust our night. I mean, we could do '90s movies forever. There's so many, but
So
I was like,
many.
we can branch out for sure. I was like, I mean, I do like films from all different decades, but I mean, obviously, I grew up in the '90s, really, so I've seen these films a lot, and that's why I'm doing them. But the 2000s, there are a lot too. Like I have a big list of things that came out after 2000.
Early 2000 had like really great
Yeah,
films. I think.
so that's going to be either some bonus episodes or who knows later on if people want that. But for now, we have a big '90s like list, so we've got a lot to get through still.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm done with my plot points and story. I was going to move on to the mood, and yeah, I mean it's '80s New York Wall Street. It's
Mhm.
pretty self-explanatory. It's kind of the same in every film. Um, yeah, what did you think about what do you think about the interiors?
I love
Like
the
his
interiors. I
apartment.
mean, it's funny because the restaurant, the opening scene is all like really 80s, like pink tablecloth, and like just the decor is very much like, yeah, I don't know, 80s, I suppose. But then the his apartment is really sleek, and like I love how cool it is. It's very like minimal and like modern.
Mhm.
Um, but I do like that the scene at the restaurant with all the fancy food a lot. It's just very different. It's totally opposite, I suppose.
Yeah, it is really cool. I
Well,
like
yeah.
I like the difference between Patrick's apartment and Paul's apartment,
Yeah,
and how
Paul's
like
it's ugly. Oh
the
gosh.
girl was like, "This place is way nicer than your old one," and I was like, "Is it?"
No, 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 no,
I don't
no.
think so. Maybe that's just not my vibe. But I love it when he first walks in. He's like, "Oh my god!" And he has a nicer view of the park, and it's obviously more expensive than mine. Like he's just so insecure about everything. And there's another really awesome quote too that I don't have written down because I don't know the exact wording of it. But I love when he's going into Espas to meet like all like Timothy and like Lewis Carruthers is there, and like everyone's there when those like goth couples there, and he's like, I'm really nervous walking in. I'm thinking that we won't have a good table, but then as soon as I walk in, I see that we're seated well, and the relief washes over me in an awesome wave.
I
Like,
know, I love that too.
like he's
Yeah.
so like OCD and like just so needs to control everything, and then he's like, oh, okay, good. Like we're gonna be sitting here. I feel better now. I'm just like, oh god. I also love Patrick's bathroom, like that black tile tub
Yeah,
that kind
I
of
love
out.
his
I
bathroom.
love that bathroom.
His
Like
whole apartment, like all the furniture and the artwork and everything, it's just really, I love that. Just white, really minimal, like,
in stainless steel kitchen, which was pretty futuristic because
yeah.
now that's all they have. Now it's all
Mhm.
people do. And that whole thing was but it's very like sterile too. You could
It
tell it's like a
is.
very sterile, almost like an autopsy, like medical examiner, like a room. Like it was all like white and silver and like looked like a morgue kind of. You had all this
You
like
think?
silver.
Oh, I
Yeah,
just really liked it. I
no,
mean,
it's
if I
cool.
could, my
It's cool.
apartment would look like that.
It's really cool. Not like the inside, but just the kitchen because of all the metal. Like I always
Mm.
think of like a medical examiner, like because there's the morgues and then they have the slab, like the tables are all metal because it's like antibacterial. I think that's like an
Mm.
antibacterial surface. So I'm sure
That
he's
makes
really
sense. Yeah,
paranoid
makes
about
sense.
everything as he cleans up everything, and he's obviously very OCD about everything in his life. The music. What do you think about the music?
I I am not a huge fan of 80s music. Like I honestly didn't like the soundtrack at all. There are like a couple of songs I really love, and like obviously David Bowie is one of them, but that's during the credits right at the
Yeah, I was
end.
gonna say
But
that's like at the end.
and then there's one song that I love by New Order. Um, I think it's when they're at the club,
Yeah,
maybe.
the beginning, right?
Yeah, but apart from that, I just don't. I really don't like 80s cheesy music. I just find it really
Like super
like
cheesy.
yeah, it's just really cheesy and like poppy. It's not my style at all. So yeah, but at the same time, I feel like even though I don't like the soundtrack, I feel like it totally makes sense with the story because these are like like Wall Street guys,
Mhm.
and they I mean you obviously it would be silly to have like a banker of whatever that who's into punk
Like
music, for
Sonic Youth.
example. Yeah, exactly. Like nothing alternative. With my experience with people who work in finance, like men, is that they're quite mainstream or they're mainstream, but they do like some electronic music and they just go party hard to electronic or minimal house, but nothing like you know they're pretty into pop or like whatever.
It's probably the job too. I feel like if you're working like that much, like how deep are you going into like discovering an underground genre?
Exactly.
You're
Oh
working like
yeah, exactly.
90
Yeah.
hours a week or some crazy, like a lawyer. I mean, I know that there are people in finance and people in law and like doctors and all these other like kind of high pressure jobs that do like independent music. I mean, yes, I know that. But for
Mhm.
the purpose of this story, when music was not as easily discoverable as it is
Mhm.
now, you think that he is probably listening to top 40. Like Robert Palmer, he's got that tape. He probably went to like a tower and he's like, oh,
Whitney Houston
yeah, like Whitney Houston. I mean, yeah, that's a total like
and
pop.
Phil Collins. Oh God, I have to say
Genesis.
I'm not a fan of any of
I am a big
that.
fan of all of this soundtrack. I love
Are
it.
you?
Listen to Phil Collins' Studio quite a
Okay.
lot.
Wow.
Yeah, I like 80s music. I mean, probably because I remember from being a kid. It really reminds me of like having the radio on when my mom would like drive around and stuff. So yeah, I'm into 80s music. I don't listen to it all the time, but I don't dislike it. I think it really I just love when he's listening to like Walking on Sunshine.
Oh yeah.
On the like Walkman. We had these things called Walkmans back in the day.
I love those. I had them too.
Yeah, they're so cool. Yeah, okay, what did you think about the fashion?
Wait, did they have a Depeche Mode song in it?
Maybe?
I think they did.
What was it? Let's look up the soundtrack. I know
I
John
do
Cale did the
love
music
Depeche.
too from Velvet
Pardon?
Underground.
Oh
John
yeah,
Cale.
that's right. That's
Yeah,
right.
and
John Cale. Yeah.
a lot of the instrumental was really good.
Yeah, that was good.
It was pretty cool.
But for the most part, everything was very like,
Yeah, super 80s, yeah.
poppy and yeah, no, not my vibe at all.
What's I'm gonna look in this while you talk about the fashion. I'm gonna see if there's like a Depeche Mode.
Fashion.
I mean, it's very 80s. Oh, there is a Depeche Mode song. Yes.
Yeah, there is, right? Yeah, I vaguely remember it. Yeah, I do love Depeche Mode, by the way. Yeah,
They're really cool.
they're pretty amazing. I feel like obviously you see like the story evolving about around men for the most part. So like I'm not really into suiting, to be honest. Like it's not my favorite.
So Rudy apparently is the one who made custom suits.
Yeah, but they do mention Valentino as well. So I wonder if at Valentino, because remember he's like, don't touch his Valentino.
Oh, that's right. And Jean-Paul Gaultier.
Yeah, so basically, I love all of that. Like, I do love power dressing, and the men, had these like trench coats over their suits, and they're like, huge shoulders, which I love.
Love
I love
that.
what Chloe wears, that new dress. But there's so many references to all the brands. So basically, that bag, the overnight bag that he used, is Jean Paul Gaultier.
Oh, it actually is.
It is, yeah.
Oh, cool.
And the
The body
underwear.
bag.
The underwear that he wears was actually meant to be Calvin, but they pulled out of the project.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, I guess because of the nature of the film, they were like, no, this could be bad for us. So they ended up using Perry Ellis, actually.
Oh, that's so weird because Calvin Klein was like literally the staple of like 90s fashion controversy.
Yeah, but I feel, I guess
trying to change their image or something.
Maybe they just didn't know how the movie will come out, and they just thought they want to be associated with a psychopath and like a movie that's
bad move, Calvin.
I know, totally. But yeah, you're right. The suits were, some of them were Cerruti, like Valentino, and then there is I think all the watches were Rolex actually.
Oh really?
Yeah,
that's cool.
But I feel like, yeah, that's right. So they weren't allowed to say it's a Rolex, even though he was wearing one. They said you could use our watches, but just not when he's killing anyone.
Okay, wow.
Yeah. And what else was there that was cool? Oh yeah, so actually, wait, the bag that was the overnight bag that ended up being Jean Paul Gaultier was actually meant to be Comme des Garçons, but they refused to let them use their bag for the film. So yeah, wow. Jean Paul Gaultier said, "Yeah, cool, you can use mine."
Wow, that's cool.
I mean, I get it. I feel like they were worried. Like, I mean, that will happen now. You'll be really careful, with your brand, because if the film had been, I suppose, if he had come out like really shitty and terrible and had like awful reviews, like you don't want your name to be associated with that.
Yeah, that's true. That makes sense.
But I do love what like the little black number that one of the prostitutes wears.
Oh, the lingerie?
Yeah, just the whole black attire. Like she has this really cool, like, I mean, I love sequin dresses so much, especially like a strapless black sequin dress, and she wears that, and then she has these suspenders. And like, I'm not a fan of thongs. I think they're awful. I think they're ugly and not flattering.
Yeah, they're not.
I mean, they're just not very nice.
They're not comfortable either.
They're not comfortable, and also it's just kind of ugly to see.
Something wedged up your butt. Yeah, it's just
Yeah, I love French knickers. That's like my thing. I love that. It's just really sexy and cute.
Oh, I have the lingerie the girls wear. I like the one that the like kind of romper the girl has when she's running through the apartment. and he's chasing her with the
Oh
chainsaw. I
yeah,
like that one because it's
yeah,
actually
yeah.
got like the little bottom. It's like a really short romper.
Yeah, no, that was cute.
Yeah,
That
I
was
like
cute
that one. That one's
actually.
cool. I just have for the guys like the suits, the double-breasted suit, like very 80s, like the Wayfarer glasses, the red suspenders that they have with those blue striped shirts. And I hate those shirts on men that have the white collars and then the rest of the shirt's blue, but it's like very Wall Street, like that vibe. And
Yeah.
then the haircuts too are super 80s, like the way they're like slicked back, but they're like long. They're like a mullet. It's like a weird, it's not really a mullet because it's not short in the front, but it just is like goes down to like the bottom of their neck, like all those 80s haircuts.
I know. I actually don't mind that. I kind of like that, to be honest. I love 80s hairstyles for men and women.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
I love Chloe's obviously hairstyle, but they used to like in the 80s. Like I did have a mullet actually when I was 5. Can you believe
No
that?
way. I was
I
somewhat
know.
with one.
What?
Yeah, like my first picture, my mom was like, "You actually had a mullet." Like my hair was like down my neck when I was born, like it was really
Oh,
long.
oh wow.
And I was like, mullet. So my mom was always like, "You had a mullet." And I was like, "What?" She's like, "Yeah, you totally did." But I never had one. Like I don't think my hair could ever do that when I was older. It was probably just too curly and frizzy.
Too curly, yeah,
Right?
exactly.
But let's see. Oh, I love his camel coat too that
Yeah,
he
the
has.
camel coat is nice. I actually have one very similar to that.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, I like it. And then I noticed all the women's evening dresses were all strapless.
Yeah, that's just so big. That was really big
80s.
in the 80s. Yeah, I have original, like obviously vintage dresses that are strapless. I think they're really sexy and like flattering, to be honest.
Yeah, they are if you don't have many boobs up top. But if you do, I hate when people wear them and you just see them pulling. They constantly are pulling.
Yeah, I
You have
know.
I can't wear those. If you have too much up top and you have to keep like pulling it up, then like you can't wear a strapless because you're not supposed to be like tugging at it. Like I see it in movies. I definitely see it in reality shows. I'm like, you should not be wearing that. Like even if you have big boobs, if you have to constantly pull up the top, I'm like, then you need just some straps up there. Like it's just not gonna just looks crazy. But what are your favorite scenes? Let's roll it through.
um, so yeah, the morning routine, which obviously we
Yeah.
talked about. I mean, I feel like kind of talked about them. I said one, that obviously when he kills Paul Allen, before that, but I love it when he's like having sex with the 2 girls, and
Here.
he's like flexing his arm muscle during sex, and
Yeah.
he's like looking at the camera, and then he's like fixing his hair. And I think he's kind of behind Sabrina, kind of like, in that position. And he's like, I don't know, flicking through his hair sort of thing.
She
And
like
then he's like,
points.
Sabrina, look at the
Yeah.
camera.
Oh yeah. And she's
And
like
then he's like,
winks. She's like,
and
hey.
then he's like, he points his finger to the camera and winks.
I
It's just
know.
like, oh my God, it's so like pervy and like,
It's so funny.
it's really funny. Yeah, those are my
Those
favorites.
are
What
yours.
about you?
Mine,
Yeah.
okay, the beauty routine I have, obviously. I have that listed, obviously. I love Patrick and Jean in his apartment where he's like doing all these slow things where you think she's gonna get killed. And he
Oh
like grabs
yeah.
the tape and then she's like, "What are you doing?" And then he has like the nail gun like right to the back of her head, and
God.
then the phone rings. And then it's like it's Evelyn, and then she's just like, "Oh, do you want me to go?" Like it's like this weird cat and mouse thing, and then he's like, "I think you should go. Something bad's gonna happen." I'm like, why did he spare her?
I know. I think because she's so sweet. I feel like maybe he felt bad for her
Yeah,
because she's just like adorable. And yeah, I love that he didn't kill her, to be honest.
yeah, I know that was pretty good. And then like later on, she like sees all those drawings in his notebook, and she's like,
Yeah.
"What the fuck?" I love the scene with Evelyn and Patrick's breakup in the restaurant, where he's like, "You're just not terribly important to me," and she's like, "Oh my god," she's like freaking out, and he's just like, "I'm sorry, like I know my behavior can be like kind of erratic and like kind of nuts, but like we just shouldn't see each other." And she's like, "Oh my god, like what is it?" And then she just starts screaming, and then he's just
But
like,
she also says, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work out because your friends are my
"Oh,
friends
that's right,
and my
yeah."
friends are your friends. Like,
And she's
I
like,
can't
you can
remember.
have them. Like, take them.
Oh, you take them. Yeah,
Yeah, take
yeah.
them. I don't care. And then she's like, where are you going? And he's like, I have to return some videotapes. Which is
He
probably
always
going to
says
be the
that.
title of this
He,
episode.
yeah, he always says he has to return some videotapes. Oh my god, Lauren, do you remember those days where we used to do that? Go to
Yeah.
Blockbusters and like return.
Yep.
Oh.
And you have to rewind it, otherwise you could get a fine. And then the lawyer confession I already mentioned, where he like is on the phone, which I really like, and he's just like telling him everything that happened. Worst scenes, I don't really have any. I didn't
You
really have.
don't?
No, I mean, yeah,
Really?
all the ones that are violent are worse, but I just love this whole film. I mean, it all
Me
just
too.
really works so well together, and it's so funny because I was just reviewing Fear, and all of the worst scenes were like everything that had sexual assault because it was like very realistic and very scary. But this
Mm.
one is in such a like satire bubble, and it's just so strange and weird, and like just like when he has the threesome the with the two girls in the beginning, it's like you're like, what the fuck, this is so crazy. And then I really like how they had the threesome, they all had sex, and they're sleeping. I love how her hand comes down and he's like, don't touch the watch.
Oh yeah,
Holds his
don't
hand
touch the
over.
watch. Oh my god, he's just so
And then
insane.
yeah, and then they like as soon as he gets up, they're all like, okay, and they're like putting like trying to get out of bed, and then he pulls out the drawer that has all this like crazy tools and shit, and then he's like, we're not finished yet. But I like how they didn't show what happened, and then you just see the next scene is like them leaving, and they're all like like all like fucked up, like we don't know exactly what happened, and then they gives them the money and they run out, and that's really upsetting. But I feel like it would have been way worse if we actually saw like him do
Oh
something,
yeah, and this
you
is
know.
why I like the fact that you don't actually see you don't really see, you know what's happening, but you don't see, like, for example, like the victims, you don't see
Mhm.
them once he's killed them, like their face or anything. There isn't
Yeah,
any close up, which is cool.
yeah, which is good that it's not so crazy. But what are your
Yeah,
worst scenes? I didn't really
I
have.
I, I really hate it. Like I hate when when he kills a homeless man and his dog.
Oh, yeah,
Because
that is really
he's just this sweet man, and he's like not even asking him for anything. He just walked past him and he's like, I'm gonna help you. And then he's like, you smell, you
oh,
stink,
that's right, yeah.
get a
Get a
job.
job, yeah.
And then he's like, okay, I'm gonna help you. And then he's like, thank you, sir, thank you, thank you. I just hate that. I
Yeah,
can't
I
really stand
forgot
there
about
where
that
like
one.
where
Yeah,
there's like violence towards like homeless people. Like
that is
I
pretty
find it really, because there are a lot of people who don't like homeless, who had this
yeah,
weird
really
thing.
mean.
You know.
That's true. Addendum. That one is pretty upsetting. That didn't really need to. I mean, I guess it added to his character, but obviously it was like really fucked.
Apparently, you know this because you read the book, but apparently in the book, he kills the homeless or maybe someone else, and he makes hamburgers with some meat and eats them.
I haven't read it in quite a while, but there's a ton of cannibalism, and that's probably true. Like I
Oh, that's
don't
awful.
remember like every aspect of it, but
You
yeah.
see, I will find that to disturbing. I couldn't read it. I definitely don't want to watch that. That's on another level.
That's
Like,
why it could never be made. Like, it can never be made like that. Is that your
mm.
only worst scene?
And when the prostitute escapes and
Oh
she
yeah.
sees all the bodies in the cabinets and rooms and the head in the freezer or fridge, and then he kills her anyway,
That
with
like
a chainsaw.
chainsaw thing where he like throws it
I
down.
feel like she had got so far and
And
now she's dead.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's just like a horror film where like you're like she's not getting out of this. Like there's
yeah.
no way she's getting out of this. It's so crazy. But I do like him running around naked, covered in blood with sneakers, though.
He's mental there.
Yeah,
He's
he's really.
genuinely lost it. He's like thirsty for blood.
Mhm.
Like, yeah.
It's so nuts. Yeah. Do you have any more?
No, that's it.
Cool. So, what are your favorite quotes to wrap it up?
I mean, it's not really a quote, but I suppose it's a line where when I think it's at the beginning, and they're in the taxi, and she's planning her wedding or their wedding, and she's like, I want 1,000 roses and truffles, Godiva, and oysters in the house shelf. Annie Leibovitz, I can't even pronounce her name,
Oh yeah, Andy
Leibovitz.
Leibovitz.
And she's like, we need to get Annie Leibovitz. And it's like, we just need to set a date. And he's like, I don't want to get married. No, I can't take off work or
Yeah.
something. Yeah, I just love her dialogue. Like, she's just, oh God, she's one of those girls, like,
Mhm.
I would never be friends with. Like, she wants 1,000 roses, truffles, oysters. She's just really fancy and like girly. Yeah,
Yeah,
no.
she's like super
But it's
fat.
funny, you know.
Yeah, it's true.
What are yours?
Mine are, I've already said most of them. I have to return some videotapes, which I think may be the title of the episode, unless I can think of anything else that's less
I
obvious.
like that one. I
Yeah, I
like
like that
that
one
one.
too. And then I also have like try getting a reservation at Dorsia now, you fucking bastard.
Yeah,
And
yeah, that's
then that's
good.
a very hey, this is another runner up for the title. Is that's a very fine Chardonnay you're not drinking.
Yeah, I
I
love
like that.
that.
And then the
I
other
love
one
that.
is duct tape. I need it for taping something.
Yeah,
And
no,
she's like,
that's
"What is
funny.
that?" And yeah, that's all I have.
I actually really like it when the two girls arrive and they're all together and he's like, "Don't you want to know what I do?"
Oh
And they're
yeah,
like, no, not really." And he's like, "Well, I work on Wall Street for Pierce and Pierce." And they're
yeah.
like, "Okay,
They're like,
whatever,"
okay,
you
who
know.
cares? Yeah, it's so funny. But yeah,
I
that's
know.
all I have
Yep.
for the episode.
Yeah.
I'm
But
excited.
it went really quickly, I thought.
Yeah, right? We did like
Yeah.
a good recap. If you haven't seen the film, go watch it. If you have, I'm sure you probably have, otherwise why are you listening to this? But um go watch it again. And it's really
Time flies when you talk about Christian Bale.
Christian Bale. Yeah, we'll have to do another. We have to do Velvet Goldmine eventually too, which is another like Ewan McGregor, Jonathan Rhys Meyers, and Christian Bale. Like great trifecta there.
Yep.
So yeah, we'll and wait, isn't that all like he's one's English, one's Scottish, and one's Irish? Huh,
That's right. Yeah.
that's so cool.
Scottish, Irish, English. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Well, we've reached the end, and I hope you enjoyed the episode. Like, rate, and subscribe, and we will see you on the next one.
Bye.
Bye.